Hi, Annie here, and I actually thought I'd do another CAWM today, which is a craft along with me. So grab your project or a cup of tea, or just sit back, relax, and enjoy. And I'm just going to chatter on a bit today. I'm in a very chatty mood. So actually, I've just finished filming another one, and I'm deciding to film two today because I am in a very like a chatterboxy mood. So hopefully that works out well for you. But I actually thought today I was going to talk a bit about my crafting history. And I know this is a bit weird and a bit off topic, but I also kind of find it interesting because I feel like I always wanted to be a crafter. I always wanted to be like the person that, could sit down and do this stuff, and not only be good at it, but really find it relaxing. And that's not something that I actually experienced early on in life. I tried to knit probably from the time I was about 7. I'd pick it up once or twice a year and really try. I'd spend a week or more just picking it up every time I was sitting down, really trying. My mom was a knitter. She knit all the time. She found it so relaxing, obviously. It was like her piece. And I didn't find that. I found knitting very hard. I found that the tension I couldn't manage to keep straight. I was always dropping stitches. I didn't have, I think, the attention span that was great for knitting, especially at that age. I tried a lot of different things outside of the plastic lacing, which we called GIMP as a kid. I wasn't very good at many crafts. I wanted to be. I tried, I poured my heart and soul, and I'd really go at it for a number of days or weeks, and I'd spend a lot of time, but I could do it, but it always looked a bit shit, if you know what I mean. Like, it never turned out the way I wanted it to, or the way even other kids my age stuff would turn out. So I always found it a bit disappointing. And so that kind of takes us forward. I kept trying to find that thing that I'd be good at. As I got older and into high school, I tried latch hook, like rug making. I was okay at that, but again, the level of concentration to do the pattern. I tried cross stitching. I could not do counted cross stitch. It was just, I couldn't keep my place on the grid at all. It was just beyond me. So anything, I could do cross stitch if it didn't require really very much of a pattern. If it was just some words that I could figure out kind of basically on my own, if I could kind of remember the pattern, I was fine, but I couldn't transfer from paper to the Ida cloth very well. So anyway, like I said, I tried rug hooking. Used to make those pot holders a lot too, the ones made of like the nylon fabric. I was good at those. I made a lot of those. My relatives must have hated me for the amount of gifts I gave of nylon pot holders and table runners and all kinds of that. But I found it hard to just get the other stuff, anything else I tried, the way I wanted it. So as I got a little bit older, I'm going to say probably just after high school, I tried quilting again, and I did manage to complete, after it took me quite a long time, but I did a small like lap quilt that I had quilted. I didn't do the top, like I didn't make the thing itself. It was just a panel from the store. It was a cowboy, like a Wild West scene, and I quilted the top of that, and I was very proud of myself. I'd made some kind of tie quilts and more simple quilts for friends as gifts, and they turned out quite well. So I was quite happy with the quilting that I was doing. But something, I'd say, what was it? Less than 5 years ago, I decided in the meantime too, I took up French flower beading, and I found that I was like passable at that. I could do it, and it turned out okay. I was good at roses and little daisies, but beyond that, I kind of lacked the ability to shape the flowers properly, I found. Again, I'd spend a lot of time, but the more I tried to get it right, the worse it seemed to be. It seemed to be something that you needed to kind of just be okay with, like just doing and have like a light touch and getting it right, which I think it's something that you have to be really confident in what you're doing. And although I wanted to be good, I think the more I tried and it didn't work out, the less confident I got, if that makes sense. Anyway, a few years ago, I decided to pick up knitting again because I was wanting something to do because I was spending quite a bit of time laid up because of some health problems I was having. And I just wanted something that was easy to do in bed. So I tried knitting again. I was obsessed with reading knitting magazines, even though I wasn't knitting. And I was reading them and I thought, maybe I can do this. Maybe it's something I can do. And so I decided to start with a chunky, big, bulky scarf. Then I did it, and all of a sudden, it just fell into place. The knitting all of a sudden was much, much easier. Knitting, purling, all of a sudden I didn't have, the really gimpy hands that were making it, where everything just, all the stitches slid off the needles, or my tension was all over the place. I feel like I was a late bloomer, and kind of all of a sudden came into my craft life and my craft dexterity quite late on. But anyway, so I started doing that, and I was okay, but again, I think as I found crocheting, which is a much more recent thing, I just actually found it just after the start of the year in 2015 here, and I actually stumbled across a YouTube video of somebody crocheting, and I saw that, and I'm like, oh, why wasn't I doing this before? And it was just something that I saw it done, and I was like, that's what I need to be doing. That's going to be something I can do. And I felt like because it was only keeping, one or a few stitches on the hook at a time, that it just suited my personality better, if that makes sense, that my attention span, which I do really try to be good at, but there's just something about this where it doesn't require the same commitment to a row, so I feel like I pick it up a lot more often. If you drop a stitch, it's not the end of the world because it's very easy to go back. Like here, if this needle falls out, if I drop that, and this is that's still the hook. You're not screwed. That's still, you can just put your hook back through that. But in a worst case scenario where that actually does come undone, you are just going back one stitch, and then you've got another hook or another loop that you can put your hook through. And all of a sudden it was just this was my thing. And I learned how to do a granny square very quickly. I didn't have any trouble with figuring out the stitches, which is usually what I really struggle with. I usually really struggle to kind of get the rhythm of whatever the craft is down. And I didn't have any trouble with that. And then I did a granny square. I did 10, I think, my first day, which is just insane. I became obsessed essentially. And by the end of, not within a month, I'd actually completed my first blanket. I think it was 3 weeks, and I had it all joined and everything. And it just came so quickly to me. And it was something that I'd not experienced with crafting before, because where I could be passably okay at a lot of stuff, I just didn't have that knack of doing it, which my mom is quite good at crafting, and I always was very jealous of that because I wanted to be good at it, but it just wasn't me. And I feel like part of it was the crafts that she's very good at are just not the crafts that are going to be probably my bread and butter. That's not even right, but that's not going to be where my talent lies, because she is incredibly patient and that kind of methodical, and where I hate to say it, but a bit more slapdash and things. It's not that I try to be, but it's just I like the feeling of results. And see, as you can see before, I just had that few things, and now I've got a square, and I like this. I like the fact that in crocheting you can kind of see what you're doing and see what you're getting quite fast. And I like the fact that it's a lot of sometimes individual pieces, because it feels like stuff that you can kind of use to fill in the time, that it's not taking up the time, that you can just pick it up and put it down. And again, because of how easy it is to keep your place even without the hook there, I feel like it's something that I pick up even just if it's for 3 minutes, and I do a little bit on. And so to me, this has just been such a thing that I have loved. And also I'm doing patterns, which patterns I never would have guessed I would be able to really read. And I'm even using the charts, which again, charts are really something that I wouldn't have guessed I had like any skill at doing. But I think part of it is it makes sense to me. Like what I'm being asked to do when I'm doing a pattern often makes sense. I will say that there are some patterns that don't require complicated stitches that I just do not get the language of. I always end up with stuff just in a mess because it just, to me, the language of it does not flow. It does not fit. But yeah, anyway, I think I'm starting to really ramble about my love of crafts. But what was the first, do you have a craft that you find like really relaxing or that you're good at or just that you really enjoy doing even if you are crap at it? Because I mean, I have those crafts as well too that I do like doing even though I'm kind of crap at them. So do you have anything like that? Because I'd love to know. I'm also always, I love a new craft project. I love learning new things even if I am kind of bad at it. So, but it is so much more enjoyable when you're good at it. But anyway, let me know below. Give this video a like if you enjoyed it. I put out a new video every Wednesday, and I've been trying to put up bonus videos through the week as well. So keep an eye out for those. And yeah, let me know what you think. And if you have any suggested topics for future CAWMs that you want me to talk about or you want to start a conversation about, and we can do that. Anyway, I shall go, and I'll see you on Wednesday for sure. Bye!